Welcome to Lighten Up Talk Radio with Michael and Lee. Join us with topics that wake up the connection to your soul. You can listen to us at lightenuptalkradio.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is November 11th, and it is time for another episode of Lighten Up Talk Radio here with Lee Snider and Michael Brazwell and myself, Michael Lott, and we have just got through with a most powerful pre-show. We hadn't been recording them lately because sometimes we'll sit here before we hit the record button and just chat a little bit, but this one went for quite some time, and so... Wow, I'm still buzzing from the pre-show. What about you all?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Michael and Lee.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Michael and Michael.
I think you're going to have to give us nicknames or something.
I'll have to think about that for next week.
You may regret saying that.
Yeah, I'm going to spend the whole week thinking about what I want that to be, particularly for the gentleman on my left, which is Michael Brazwell.
You want to switch seats, Michael?
You're not going anywhere.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know about you all out there and in here, but it's been a pretty powerful week for me. And also today is 11/11, which is another huge, I'm just going to call it transitioning point of the year and of 2012 and moving into the new energies of this year and closing out the old energies and stepping into some very powerful new ones. And I'm just going to say this week has been one of a lot of aggravation for me with family, a particular family member of whom that I've really wanted to help in ways that through our discussion on the pre-show, which we both got, Michael Brazwell really helped myself and Lee as a sounding board for a lot of the stuff that we were both going through this week. But mine in particular, I realized that there was a part of me that really wanted to help this person in a way that it was not my responsibility, or let's say it's not my responsibility on any level to do so as far as wanting even for them to feel a certain way. So maybe we'll get into that a little bit more. But this week just really kicked off a lot of aggravation and frustration, very deep heartstrings for me. And so I've been in the process of releasing that. What about you all this week?
I've had somewhat the same situation. I know I've spoken with you a couple of times this week about I've had very heavy breathing at times, and it's hard to release it. And there's just been something been sitting there. And I believe that after the show, we're going to do some releasement work here of cutting some of the cords and the strings and all that kind of stuff. Well, we've already cut quite a few of them, but I think we'll have even more to do so. But I think that the one thing that I learned out of the pre-show is that, and it just really didn't strike me until about middle ways we were in our conversation about everybody has their own purpose. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult at times if you're a parent. You always try to get into the purpose of your children. And your children really don't want you to get into their purpose if they know what that is and what they're striving for. And it just released that for me. By having 4 children, they're totally all different as far as personalities are concerned. Sometimes it's just a motherly instinct to want to go there. And what happened was it was kind of a boomerang this time around. It came back around and it took me by the neck. And I've always thought I was taking that by the neck. But anyway, obviously this time around, the boomerang came around back on me. So it's just already been an amazing night. And I think that the wonderful part about having 3 people at this table, and I want to say this because I know that Michael Brazwell's head might grow a little larger than it is right now, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think it's been a great asset, and Michael and myself both were speaking about him this week, and he started out as a guest I guess that's the way that went. And I always felt like that it would be much more than a guest. I always felt like it would be a permanent fixture here. It's just that he didn't think that way at the time. But I knew that that would change. So I had I had a PMA positive mental attitude about all that. Because I felt like that it definitely would. Because we all get everything out of what we need every week. It has been a wonderful experience to have a third person here on a weekly basis. Because it just seems to balance out the whole situation as far as a lot of your life purpose, a lot of where you're going, a lot of what you need to work on within yourself to go further in your life. And it's been a real awakening for me. At times, Michael, Lott, and myself, we've just been very connected together for quite a long time. And we speak on about a daily basis, either doing our text messaging or we speak, on the telephone. If it gets real serious, we'll actually pick the phone up and talk to each other. But sometimes it's very much of a huge connection there because I have been Michael's mother in several past lives. So there's totally a connection with that. And it's Michael Brazwell just shook Michael Lott's hand saying, "I'm sorry." But anyway, I'm trying to get to the good part about you, Mr. Brazwell. But I think that what has happened is with having three of us here at the table that we can all so help each other in so many different ways. And it kindly puts us in a spot that we're just really getting very good at this as far as the round table. And that's why we're doing the pre-shows now. I think that's going to be a great help, great tool that we'll be putting out to where people can listen to it. And I really am thanking Michael Brazwell for being here at this table. And it took a lot of hammering at times on my part, but I knew that I would win over on this to where he would start coming on a weekly basis. And it was for purpose for us as well as for purpose for him. And it has been a totally enlightening type scenario, and it's even going to go even more and more and more because we got a lot more things to do in our lifetime. And 2012 is a great year to broke this in and to continue on. And we're just looking for great things to happen.
I just want to say real quick before I know Michael probably is going to say something too, but that as always, this show, we just kind of organically let it go where it needs to go.
Right.
And, the changes come and go. And where we thought maybe 4 months ago we're going to be, sometimes it shifts to where we didn't know where it needed to go, but it goes where it needs to go. And that's kind of where this is going. So we're just let it flow, evolve, grow. And the one thing we did, Lee, you got the phone line. We have a phone number.
Good.
Yes.
But we don't. So we've gotten that step. But as far as getting the box yet, we haven't felt inspired to get the box yet that we need. So we'll see when that unfolds next.
I think it'll probably unfold the first week of December. Whereas we can be in total full capacity of doing a lot of different things by the first of the year.
That'll be good.
We can start.
That would be the time
frame.
Yeah, we can start playing with the thing, see how exactly it works, and how we're going to, of course, Spirit will always tell us how this comes, and we've been told numerous times this year. Michael, Lott, and myself are pretty much been let's do it now type people. And and what has really happened, I think, the past probably the last 4 months, we've just slowed it down, and it was meant to be that way because there was a lot of things in 2012 that needed to be accomplished, and a lot of things that we needed to just sit back and wait because there's some new things going to be coming. I think the first of the year that we don't even know about, and so there was no reason for us to go out there any further than where we're gone. And I think that it's worked out totally in divine order. The way it always will. Now, what do you have to say about this, Mr. Brazwell?
It's interesting that you said December, 1st of December, because that will mean you'll have the phone lines in and be able to take calls and maybe help people through the end of year, the season blues, the depression that most people feel at the end of the year and around Christmas time.
Yes.
So that may be a very, very viable tool for you to do that.
Yep.
Being on the show, my mother at one time taught me a valuable lesson, and that was whenever there's a man and a woman in conflict, the man's always wrong. So in this case, it proved out again.
Oh, God, goodness.
Thank you, Bob. But it is interesting because I feel that being three here, the Trinity, that it even enhances our ability when we're not together to receive information, the intuition, the spiritual connections, the channeling, the receiving of what we need to do. I think it's enhanced and stronger now because this room is full of spirits, as you know.
Yes.
Angels, guides, masters. And in this environment, you hear and you feel the heat of the energy in this room. Well, a byproduct of that is your vibrational frequency is raised. And that just enhances your ability to receive and to be spiritual healers, spiritual counselors, spiritual readers, and to connect with spirit consciously. So I think it's a good thing, and I'm blessed, truly blessed to be in this environment. I never thought that it would be. And
I know.
You're right. And I thought I had a different spiritual path to walk, and probably they're the same path, just different parts, different steps within that path. So I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you very much.
You know what my thought is on that, too, is you reach a certain point where you realize in order to get the message out to more people, that ways like this are one of the best.
Oh, yes.
It's a fantastic way to get the message out, whatever message that each one of us have a lot of messages we want to get out. So this is a fantastic forum to have that.
It is that, and this is just the beginning of us.
Oh my goodness!
This year's been our trial year. We're going so much further than this in a lot of different ways, and I just really see it kicking off in a huge way the first of the year, and to a lot of different avenues that we haven't even touched upon.
Do you know what? When you said going a lot further, I saw the Fool card from the tarot deck Fool card, and from the other thing just flip and shoot out, which to me means we're a bunch of fools as we jump off into the unknown with this, but in a good way, in a good sense. We're just literally traversing out into a whole unknown area, just like I know a lot of you all are in your own ways, but it's going to be fascinating. Can't really even say exactly what the form's going to be in the future. It's going to grow.
And it really doesn't make any difference because
No.
whatever it is, we know it's going to be great.
Totally.
You have a fourth seat here, which is empty.
Yes.
Might it be a good idea or a suggestion to invite at the beginning of each show whatever spirit or whatever archangel wants to attend and advise and give information for that show, and to help us along with the energy for that show to sit in that chair?
That's a great idea, and I think the amazing thing of what you just said was that it said, as it went over to you and I looked at you, I was thinking, right here is already someone sitting in this fourth chair.
We've called the spirit to sit with us before at the table.
Have you really?
Yeah, we have. And
We
they have.
did, we did.
Yeah, we did.
I did not know that. Well, I'm glad.
We've had two of them to be exact.
Wow.
One where you're sitting, so you ought to be really blessed. And you're sitting in that spot. So that
Was it male or female?
There was the one that I remember clearly was the males.
Male.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could have made a big joke out of that. But I decided to back off.
You're very enlightened.
Oh my gosh. All righty, who's going to pick a card? Who wants to pick the card
Go,
first?
Mr. Brazwell.
I picked one earlier, but we'll pick one on
fresh one
the air
for the-
now.
Do.
Healthy lifestyle. Archangel Raphael.
There you go.
Eat a healthy diet, get adequate sleep, and exercise regularly for optimum health.
Boy, that makes a lot of sense to me, y'all.
Spiritual people on a spiritual path tend not to do that a lot because they get so focused and so involved with outside the humanity of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that you hear the term wounded healer all the time. And I think that's why they don't focus on themselves, not realizing that the more they keep the vessel themselves healthy and in better shape, something I've learned, that you can probably do a lot more spiritually if you do that. So, and I say that as I'm sitting here eating a macadamia cookie. But I'm doing it for energy.
Well, I have to say, that's a total affirmation and confirmation for me, because I felt guided to take a period of time off from working out. And I just, this last week, it's been starting to come back in, that it's my body's ready for whatever from all these changes to take it back up to a little more strenuous level. Because I was told, Spirit told me just to be very calm and just walking outside, no rigorous exercise for a while with some of the changes. And I said, okay, well, you just tell me when it's time. And I've been getting these little nudges. I almost went to the gym today, but it didn't work out with all of the things that were going on at the house today. But that's my confirmation. So thank you for picking
Cool.
And I think an interesting thing for me is that I have not been drawn to go to exercising at all. And it's kind of like this year I've just been doing, I don't really sit a lot. I work a lot around the house, and I do a lot of yard work, and I do that type of thing. But this week I was drawn to start the new community center here in Dandridge, and it's been open now for a little over 2 months. And I went and visited it 2 months ago, but I was actually led this week to just start. And so my plans are 2 days a week. And
Nice.
I went and walked on the treadmill and did some weights and did the bicycle and all that. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? This feels pretty good to me this week doing this. Now, let me see how I feel in the morning when I get up out of that bed. And I was not at all sore at all. And I just made me feel really good. And I think it's good. My back is really well. And I think that also helped that as well, to be able to work some of that out, because I know it was a little bit off last week. And so I think that the whole thing worked out good for the exercise part of it as well. And that's good. And so anyway.
I'm glad you're not in the trap. I saw on Facebook a cartoon, and it was this lady, and it could have been a man, but in this case it was a lady, lying on a couch, and she said, you know, today I didn't go to the gym. That makes 5 years. So thank God you're not into that trap.
I know. Because this whole summer I've been saying I was going to go out and play golf. I mean, live on a golf course. And was an avid golfer, 3 to 4 times a week. Played all the time. And this year just have not. My cart, the batteries all went out. And so there was about 4 of them I had to replace, and they were very expensive to do that. So I thought, I'll just wait till next year. It was kind of the end of the season. But I could have just gone out there and took my little rolling cart and did it. So I really didn't want to do it in the first place, obviously, or I'd have been doing that. So this is a great start, and I am putting myself together next year to be able to play some golf. Do you play golf, Michael?
I used to play once a year. Well, I played for several years. I played a lot,
Right.
and then I played once a year with then brother-in-law, who was really adamant about his golf. I mean, he was a good golfer, and far better than me. But I would do psychological warfare with him, and I always beat him.
I bet.
Oh my goodness.
He almost gave up golf, I think, because of it. But I love golf.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe we'll have some talks about this next year. See how that Michael.
where it
You've
goes.
never played, have you, Michael? Michael.
When
Lott.
I was a kid,
Okay.
I did, but
Right.
golf was a little boring for me.
Right. Well, we'll have to go out at least one time and make the round of
Okay.
at least 9 holes.
I love miniature golf.
Well, it can be
too.
fun with
I do too.
with good company. It's fun.
That's it. Well, it's good company.
And we all
that's
get
for sure.
5 mulligans.
We're moving into the Thanksgiving season, and I think it's just a wonderful time of the year to just really think about what Thanksgiving's all about. And it's not around just all the food, all that type of thing. It's just being very thankful for what you have in your life. And I sat down last night for about 2 hours, and I actually listened to one of the life classes that Oprah had. And it was really good. I ended up getting my book out, and it was talking about, who you are, I am. And it was just an exciting time to just sit there and listen to that. I would encourage everybody for the life classes that she has. She's starting up a whole new bunch of life classes as of next week. And Eckhart Tolle is going to be one of the first guests. And so if you have any time, if you want to watch something really good on TV instead of some of the times the slanderous type shows that's on, then I would entertain the idea of doing that. I really got totally involved in it, and it was great doing that. Be very thankful this year for all. I'm very thankful this year. Next year is going to be a wonderful year, but this year has been the start of it. And today of 11/11 has been a blessing to be in the energy of where we're at tonight. And I just love every piece of it. And anytime that anybody gets too deep, such as what Michael was talking about a while ago, maybe in the holiday blues and that type of thing, always understand within your own soul that you were put here for purpose, and tap into it and just quiet your mind and go within yourself. And when you do that, it's like miracles happen. We have miracles around us every day, and a lot of times people do not even look at it. But it's every day. You know, if you have a day that's pretty sad on your calendar, there's always something that you can look at that's going to be much better for you to think about. And I think it's just kind of getting out of your own mind sometime. I was, earlier this evening on our pre-show, I was pretty much taken out of my own mind of where I was. And I certainly appreciate that. And I'd like to put it out to all the audience out here. There's never anything out there that you cannot overcome with happiness and laughter. And whatever that is, reading a book or whatever, talking to your friends or whatever that is, pick that and just don't sit into yourself as far as being just down and out all the time. It's been amazing this year that I've been in some energy in different places that it was just, I think it was a lot of it was presidential type stuff. And it just really was very aggravating to me to even sit there to listen to it. It's around divine order. The president that we have is around divine order. Everything is around divine order. And when you look at it that way, then everything just works out perfectly in your life. You really have not a whole lot to do except just follow the steps.
Wow. We just had something fall down in here as a confirmation.
Yes, we did.
And on that, I was thinking this date is pretty significant because it's 11/11.
Yes.
11/11 is 22. 11 is a massive, to me, confirmation of manifestation, new beginnings, keeping on the purpose of your path and holding true to who you are and all of those kind of things, balancing your life to keep you on your highest path and all of those things. And you add 11 and 11 together, you get 22, which is about faith.
Yes.
And am I correct by this president is the 44th president?
I believe so.
This year? Then you add the 22 and the 44. There's something big about those number sequences for right at this time. Number 4s are very angelic type of foundational. It's also support. 4 is very supportive about a foundation and creating a solid foundation. And 4 and 4 together, you add those together, you get 8, which is about material abundance. So to me, I'm getting chill bumps about this. There's a lot of, this is like a massively synchronistic time right now about thoughts, balance in life, going and equaling toward total abundance in all forms, in this human, feeling abundant in this human physical world. It's interesting how those number sequences, you add them up, and boom, 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 and even all of that comes together with that. Fascinating.
You know, if you carry that 11-11, you can put 11 under 11, you've got balance.
Mm-hmm.
If you 11-11 in the binary language of computers, and I've got 30 years computer background, so I can't get away from this. 1111, that's 4 switches turned on. If you add the 12 on the end of it, you've got another 1 switch turned on, and 2 could be 2 more ones. So really, 11, 11, 12 could be 7 switches turned on.
Oh, wow.
Now that could equate spiritually to DNA switches being turned on.
Oh, that is cool.
Think about it. It's really neat.
That is really, really cool. I've read some neat articles, actually, lately about where scientists, I wish I had the name of where that came from, but I was doing some research, and there was an article about the DNA where scientists have actually found that, and the way it came about, there was a child that was born with the HIV or AIDS. I don't know. I think it was HIV, and they had tested it numerous times, and by the time it reached the age of 7 or 8, it was gone. And so they were like, what in the world happened? And so they've gone in and they started looking at the DNA, and they found that this child had a different DNA than a lot of people. There were other switches turned on. They had 24 instead of 22 or something like that. Then they started testing a lot of other, I'm just going to call them the indigo crystal kids. And there were a lot of others that as well had those turned on that they had never seen before. And then they did more research, and they found the one who wrote the article was maybe in his 60s or whatever, and he had done a lot of meditation and things like that. And he as well, his DNA had switched as well. And so they tried to put a what do you call it, a statistics around it, and they figured that there were probably about 1 million people in the whole world, in the world, so the whole globe, they estimated, that have the new DNA now, which is like the light workers. When you look at it, it's the people bringing the light in on the planet, and there's something very magical. Some of it, I believe they were estimating that there's a lot more that are going to be switching into it on some level. I don't know how they figured that out, but it was just fascinating to see scientific evidence on the other nodes in our DNA switching on. That reminded me.
I've always believed that when you do spiritual work and you walk your spiritual path and do what you can to help other people and do what you can not to hurt other people intentionally, that when your vibrational level rises, that your DNA gets switches turned on as well. And I think in the future they're going to discover that DNA is far more expansive than what they've been able to map with the technology today.
That's fascinating. It will be neat. And there'll be so much more that they can see and do and all of that. Wow.
I think, too, as far as going into the spiritual realm, that you're very excited about where you're at, and you're always, pretty much in a happy mood. You're out there helping people. You're healing, hopefully, yourself as well as other people out there. Sometimes it's more difficult to go into yourself, but that's what you need to be doing on a daily basis. But I think that in itself has risen a lot of people up this year. And I think that when people are in a place of, I call it funk, because there's been a lot of people in a funky place this year, it's because you're still acting like you always have instead of moving forward. And you've got the energy moving forward. You got the universe moving forward. Everything's going forward except you. And you've put yourself in a place that you just choose not to change. And when you see everybody else changing around you, some people get very angry to see other people happy.
Yes, they do.
And I've seen that this year. They say, well, what are you so happy about today? Well, I'm happy because I'm alive. I'm happy because I'm here another day. I'm happy There's all kinds of happiness that I have because I don't see any reason why a person needs to be unhappy. And I just kind of was born that way. Why do you have to be unhappy? And it's all getting within your own self and thinking about you. You know, we get so mixed up into going into all these different places all the time. And we try to go into other people's lives. We have a tendency to do some of that. We have a tendency to try to judge mentally, tell people what they need to be doing and what they don't need to be doing. But the bottom line of it is, it's up to you to take care of yourself. If you really, really get right down to it. And I think that someone always has to be there as a partnership to put you back on track and not to get mad about it. I've seen people this year that have been friends for years that absolutely will not even speak to each other because one was going forward and the other one stayed the same, and they were very jealous of it. And that's why you've seen, I think, a lot of turmoil this year with a lot of things going on. Ignore the news, period. That would be my suggestion for that. Because, you know, every time that I've even had the time to even sit there and look at it for 5 minutes, I'm cutting it off. I can't stand to even watch it. Because, you know, everything in your life is around God and spirit. And if you just stay in the flow of that, how could you be unhappy? It's divine order. I can't imagine somebody being so unhappy that they're out there doing things that really they don't need to be doing. Prescription drugs is the highest that it's been in years. You know, prescription drugs is just really, I'd say the state that we live in right now is one of the top 10 in the country. I don't get it. It's very hard for me to get that thought pattern. Because you ought to be happy enough with your own self than having to go out there to get yourself all drugged up.
What I hear you saying, I think, is that we're born happy.
Yes.
As babies. And happiness is the natural way. And that unhappiness is self-induced at a human level.
Correct. Yes.
However, it sounds simple, but there's a lot of growth and work that has to go on to what I heard when Lee was talking was I just kept hearing as a call out, do you really want to be happy?
Good question. Do
you really want to feel good?
Right.
Do you really want to be empowered? Do you really want to make a difference? That's what I was hearing within you speaking, is to ask yourself those questions.
Right.
Do you really want it? Because if you don't, you're not ever going to get there. But if you really, really want it, you got to tap into that passion, that truth that is within you. Because that's really the only way that we can help one another, is just to be lights ourselves enough to show others that there is something more out there, something deeper, something lighter, more expansive. There's something more, and I would just ask yourself: do you really want to be happy? Is it even worth losing everything that you have in this physical world to be happy? Is it worth it? Can you do it? Yes, you can.
Yes, the answer to that with me is absolutely.
But you all out there, if you had to lose everything that you have to be happy, are you willing to do it?
Yes.
And I would say yes. For me.
Yes, yeah. I would say yes.
I would say that, a lot of us here at this table, and I know a lot of people probably listening out there are either in the process of going through those kind of changes or have just about let go of a lot of things.
I'd also like to say that I would put an exercise down for this, because I just really felt this last night and this morning. And I keep saying I am. there's a message that needs to go out tonight of I am. And get you a piece of paper and a pen and start out I am. And write down every single thing that comes into your mind of who you are. I am this, I am that, I am this, I am blessed, I am loved, I am whatever that you feel within you. And then take a look at that list when you get finished. And just really concentrate on what you wrote yourself. Because nobody can write the book on you as well as you can write it. And all of that I am will definitely come to you. And then that can be a starting point of where to start to work at.
And be totally honest and truthful with it.
Absolutely.
If you're not happy, don't say I am happy.
Right, no. You put on there, I am unhappy.
If you're broke and don't have any money, don't say I am totally abundant, blah, 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 blah. Be real and truthful with what you have right in this moment to be grateful for, have, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I've always seen those I ams, those affirmations are stepping stones. You're building a foundation. And so you start with truth and you build with truth and let that, and eventually you may say, I'm totally and completely happy. But these are building a foundation to be, not know or do, but be these.
I think there's so many people out there that don't know who they are. They really don't. They've really never, you asked a question like that of who are you? And I've done that several times with readings that I've done. And this person would come in and just be, they were just confused when they'd walk in the door. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, who are you? It's amazing what you hear from that. And I would tell you the vast majority says, I have no ideas. I've never thought about it. You've never thought about who you are.
That's right.
And that is a huge question.
It is. That's a powerful question for all you all out there.
It is.
Can you answer that question? Who are you?
Right. And just make a list of who you are.
They don't realize, well, I didn't at one time either, they don't realize the power of the words I am.
Right.
Anything after I am is very enlightening and very revealing. You're right. Because it tells the true.
It's the true you.
True you of where you're at that point in time.
Right. That is true.
And if somebody, I'm sorry, Lee.
No, go ahead.
If somebody does feel unhappy, if that is on your list, like Michael Lott said, if that is on your list on I'm unhappy, get another piece of paper. Because you may not be unhappy, you just may not realize it. Write what makes you happy. And if you can put one thing down that makes you happy, you're not unhappy. You're just stuck in the unhappy energy. Keep writing and see how many things that makes you happy. Mm-hmm. So how can you be happy and unhappy at the same time? You can't.
Can't.
And if you've got things down that make you happy, then you're basically a happy person. You're just stuck with being unhappy probably by the people you're around and different things in life and different tensions that make you think you're unhappy and you're not.
Right. That's a good way to get to the truth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like an awesome way to probe and through the list to get to your truth of where you are right now. That's awesome.
I know when I was in a workforce, I would do it was the same thing, a Ben Franklin list. If there was anything that I had, if I was right in the middle of it and didn't know exactly which way I wanted to go as far as a decision or whatever I was doing at the time, I would put a piece of paper down and I would split it in half. And I'd put the pros on one side, the non-pros on the other side, and whichever one that came out of my head that was the most of, that's the way I went with it. Because I knew that was the true self of me, going deep in there to know whether I was prepared for it to work the way that I thought that it would. So it's just a wonderful way to do that.
Have you ever been in a restaurant or store and you look and you see somebody staring at you? Or walking down the street and somebody catches your eye and you catch their eye?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely.
excuse me, my allergies have kicked up. What if, when that happens, that person has something for you? And what would happen if you were to walk up to that person and say, look, I don't know you. My name is Michael. My name is Lee. My name is Michael. And for some reason, I'm just compelled to come up and introduce myself to you and see where that conversation goes. See what you might learn from that conversation.
I had a person to say to me about 10 years ago, and it was truly the person that has led me strongly on a spiritual path. He told me, he said, Lee, you'll be in the grocery stores, and you'll be sitting there and just open up the freezer of one of the stores, and he said, there's going to be somebody walking by you, and they're going to strike a conversation with you. He says you're going to be in different places and different times, and he says, and people will be coming up to you to ask your opinion or to say, or just to strike up a conversation because they're lonely and they want somebody to talk to. He says the light is around you for that. He said that is the one thing that I noticed when you walked into my office. And he says you will always attract people to come to you whenever they're lonely or they just feel that there's a light there that they just want to have something to say to you. And he says, don't you feel that now? He said, don't you feel like that you've walked in Walmart and people just stop on the aisle and say, hey, do you know where this is or where that is? He says, that's because of the light. He said, people have lights around them and you feel it. You can feel it. And so, and what I've seen in really this year, a lot of it has been, when I look at somebody and I'm going to speak to you, they'll look at the other direction or they'll look down or they'll look, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of an unfriendly type feeling for me to think, wow, where are they at this point? So, just really try to work on yourself through the end of this year. We still have several weeks left. And this is the year for completions. Anything that's not working for you, just complete it and let it go. Just let it go. And then to start out a whole new chapter in your life. And actually put on there, who am I? And start it out new for 2013 and get rid of all the old stuff on 2012. That's not working for you anymore. Let's start loving each other again and being able to go around and just really put the message out there. We're all one, and let's just be together and help each other. And that's what God put us all here for. Not to ignore each other, but to be with each other and to help each other.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thought.
Mm-hmm.
And
it is.
we can be counting down. We'll be counting down
Absolutely.
on the show to the new year. And we'll see what kind of fun other things come up. Share with you all.
Always.
Any other fun comments for before we end the show for today?
Lee made me think of a definition that I know y'all know. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results.
Right. Right.
Oh, yeah, that's a...
And it just doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work.
No. I would suggest for all that listens to this show to get you a blank piece of paper and just put the word I am on it. And write down every single thing that you can think of who you are. And I think it'd be pretty amazing to see what you put. And that was brought to me. I don't take any type of accolades for that. That was brought to me last night to be able to put it on this show. Put out a list, I am, and then write down whom you think that you are. If there's something there that doesn't resonate with you, say, wow, I can't believe I wrote this, then change it. Because you can change it.
It's good to write it down, though.
It's good to write it down.
Somewhere
then you see
in
it.
there,
you see it.
There's that.
Absolutely. You totally see it.
I had a thought that I wanted to put out before I came over to Lee's house to do the show today. I stopped by the lake and was sitting out there, and it's probably several football fields across, maybe 2.5 football field lengths across the lake, and something struck me to take a big old rock and throw it off the cliff and down into the water. And it was a pretty big rock. It was probably, the size of a small bowling ball. And I took it and boom, it landed in the water. And I watched the ripples go out all the way. They went all the way to the middle, which was, it's about a football. I could see them go out that far. And then a boat went by, and I saw, and even though the ripples of the boat moved it, the ripples from the rock were still riding over the ripples of the boat that just zoomed by it. And I could sit back from that higher perspective of the ridge there and watch the ripples continue to travel across the lake. And, it doesn't really matter what your ripples to put out there, but whatever it is, whatever you're doing, you're putting out ripples that are affecting and going out in the world. And so what a more amazing time to really come in and get clear on who you are, as we've been talking about, because those ripples, would you rather them be positive, uplifting, and light sharing with the world, or would you rather be sending out, the dim view, the blah, 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 the I can't and all that stuff view, ripples going out in the world? Because whatever you're doing, the ripples are going out. And they're going to go across the lake, as I saw.
Yep.
And they're going to cross all kinds of different things. But make a choice.
Yes.
It's very cool to watch today.
I heard someone say this last night, and I've got to just close my part of this out today. Someone needs what you have, or God would take you on.
No, that's awesome.
That is a great thought to think. Everybody has something for somebody. So don't ever sit out there and think that you don't, because you do.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen. Lord, we love you.
Y'all have a fantastic week, and we will talk to you again soon.
Next week.
Yeah. Lots of love.
Lots of love.
See ya.